Guess who? Yeah, get to the chopper! Okay, I'm just kidding. Anyway, so I know I've been gone for about 2 weeks. Last week I ended up getting sick and almost lost my voice. Mostly lost my voice. So basically, that's kind of why I didn't post anything last weekend. So I was planning on doing a unboxing for Otaku? I don't know. The Otaku box. It's strictly anime stuff, but I was very disappointed in the company. The So we're not gonna do that. I'm not gonna give them that kind of publicity. Mainly because of the fact that they made it seem like it was all gonna be Dragon Ball stuff for that month. I was like, hell yeah, love Dragon Ball. No, no, just false. It was pretty false all the way around. It was not worth the money, and it took forever to get it. The poor customer service. It was just no, no. I'm not giving them that publicity. Nevertheless, so instead, what we're going to do is a mutual friend on TikTok. Yes, some of you don't have it, which is fine. Some of you do. Wants people to share their ghost stories. So they call me Daisy. This is mine. I have a few. Um, Man, I mean, I'm not even sure where to start. But nevertheless, when I was very young, like, man, I maybe 7, like this is before 5th grade, so I don't even know how young I was. We were living in Green Valley Ranch in Colorado, which is by Montbello, so some of you might know where that's at. And I had a white metal bunk bed, like thin hollow tubing underneath. It was all hollow. It was all very light. And I was sitting there, and I used to sleep on my stomach for a long time when I was younger. I slept on my stomach, and I'm sitting there and I'm dozing off, and the spacing between the bars was maybe like this big between each bar, and I kid you not, it felt like someone was underneath it and just punched straight up. Like my mattress went like this, right at my abdomen. It just bowed upward. Scared the living hell out of me. So I sat there and I woke up and I was like, Mom, Dad, and I blamed it on my older brother because I mean, who else would have done that? So I was like, Justin's underneath my bed and he's punching it, and they're both like, No, he's not. They chalked it up to me being tired or me being, no, it was a dream. It was a dream. And I was like, brushed it off. Still to this day, it's like, kind of hard to explain that one. But in the same house, a little bit later, me and my brother, we got the ability to have TVs in our room. We got an age. I only had a TV that could attach to our Atari. Showing my age here, people. It could attach to the Atari. That was it. That's all that I was allowed to have in my room. He was older, so he had a VCR. But I'm laying on the same bunk bed, and across the bunk bed is my little entertainment center. Had the TV on it, and the TV turned on by itself. So I shot up, and it turned off. And of course, when it turned on, since it was just an Atari, it was just the static snow, just. So I sat there for a second, and I'm looking at it, and then it started turning on, off, and it did it repeatedly. So I climbed down the bunk bed, and I walk over and I start pushing the power button. And it never did it again after that. So I always chalked it up to maybe the power button was stuck. But if it was stuck, it would have been doing it all day. Not just at night. Not just that night. It had done it all the time. Because I didn't play Atari that day. That TV was not on that day. But as I was younger, I just chalked it up to that. So, kind of like, those two stories are kind of like, you could do better. They get better. I'm saving the best for last. I have 2 more. So bear with me here. A little bit older, maybe 13, 14. We were now living in Elizabeth, Colorado. So it's kind of like a country town. Went from living by the ghetto in good old, next to Montbello to the country. It was great. It was a great experience. Great culture shock. And I had at this moment in time my brother's bunk bed, because his came with a desk, and then he had a waterbed or some crazy, I don't know, shit like that. Um, so I got his, hand me down as siblings do, and I liked his. It was red, which I prefer over white, and it had a desk underneath, so I had my stereo, my computer, all that stuff on it because I had all that crap now because I was 14, and the older I got, obviously the bigger I got. I'm a big guy now, but I wasn't big as a teenager. I was actually very fit and thin. Um, but obviously, I'd listen to music and I'd grab those small bars and I'd hang on them. And after some time wear and tear, they just started breaking off. And it got to a point now where we had to put my mattress on the floor, and because I just didn't want to give up having the desk, so my parents were like, you can tell your mattress on the floor, so I did. One night, and this is like I think the last time I ever slept on my stomach. But I was sleeping on my stomach, and I felt like an impression, like something stepped next to my leg, and then another foot next to my leg, and that originally woke me up. So I'm laying there on my stomach, and I open my eyes, and then I felt the right foot, as we say, step forward, and as it did, something else took its place. Same thing with the left. So obviously, whatever it was had four legs, and my door was shut. I had a cat that was the size of a shoe at the time, so it definitely wasn't that. So I'm laying there, kind of like slightly in shock, not knowing what the hell is standing over me while I'm sleeping. So I quickly, as fast as I can, roll over to my back. There was nothing there. Absolutely nothing there. And never had that same experience again. But before I did, I felt this pressure on me. Not like crushing me, not like sleep paralysis pressure. Just like something was touching me. That was my last time ever experiencing anything in a house. All right, so now for the grand finale. Like I said, I saved the best for last, and this one I have a hard time wrapping around my head. At least the end of it to this day. So I had a group of friends that, you know, did a lot of stupid shit together. I was actually in a band with some of them. I was new to the group. Everyone else was like really good friends, but I was the new guy. Um, One of them had a lot of property in Kiowa, which is just shortly east of Elizabeth, so not a long drive, like 15-minute drive. But he had a huge plot of land. Well, his parents did, and out there was a point where it was surrounded by trees and a small field. You couldn't even see anyone's house. Was it really his property? I don't know. They could have been pulling my leg, and it just could have been a spot that they found one day and turned it into a little party spot. But you drive you drive through a fence basically into the field, and then right at the edge there's like a small crevice, just a little dip, a little ditch. So we all parked there, and you had to walk down, and you had to walk 200 feet, not far, if that, 100 feet maybe, to where they had a little campfire set up. Some logs tipped over to sit on, some rocks circling some wood. Um, but when you walk over there, you have to there's like a little skinny path, and there's like a small pond on each end of it. The one on the left basically was just open field when you're walking towards the fire pit, but the one on the right had like a few trees on. I don't know why I'm doing this. A few trees. So walking this way, there's a few trees on each side of the pond, and like small pond. That's why I'm saying pond. And then you get to the fire pit. So things really started feeling very uneasy for me when we got there. I didn't like. Felt like there was just shit in the trees. You know what I mean? Like you have that feeling that there's something watching you. Um, it took us probably 15 to 20 minutes to get this fire going, and no idea what the hell was taking so long. Matches wouldn't light any of the tinder. The lighters wouldn't work. And nothing was wet. Everything was dry. It wasn't our first rodeo. It wasn't my first rodeo starting a fire for a camp. So I mean, for some reason, it wouldn't go. But it took several minutes, but we finally got it. And during that time, it just felt really uneasy. Once we got the fire going, we're all just talking, chit chatting, having fun, shooting the shit. After a few hours, it was time to go. So we douse out the fire, we kick some dirt on it, and then we walk back to the vehicles. As we're there, I turn around and I see that there's an orange glow coming from the fire pit. So I was like, guys, hey, hold on a second. I don't think the fire's out. And then just like that, the fire relit full. Not just a little flame, completely relit. Now, of course, obviously we didn't put the fire out, right? So that's pretty logical thinking. So one of the guys went down there with a shovel to really throw some dirt on it. And he had like a 2 liter soda. So he poured the soda out on it, threw some dirt on it, stomped on it. Had to be out. Walks back to the car. As he's halfway back, the fire fucking relit again. So he walks back and starts kicking more dirt on it. And then me and I now today have a friend named Gavin, but this is a completely different Gavin. Me and Gavin, he was like the leader of the group. We grabbed, what was it? It was antifreeze. We had some antifreeze in the back of a truck. So we grabbed some antifreeze and we start walking towards the fire. We're walking past the pond. And this is where shit gets crazy. I stopped dead in my tracks, and for some reason I looked to the right where the trees were. And there was something between the trees on the edge of the pond. When we first got there, I remember there was nothing on the end of the pond. You can see through the field into the line of trees that were maybe just a few yards out. This was right at the edge, and it was huge. Absolutely huge. I'm not talking about the size of a human. The size of a freaking full-grown pine tree. Huge. And I'm like, Gavin. And I get his attention, and, he walks over and goes, what the fuck is that? He goes, it's a fucking tree, dude. It wasn't a tree. And I knew it wasn't a fucking tree. It looked like it was just slight gestures of breathing. But of course, it could have been a breeze. I don't know. Brush it off. We finally go put out the fire. We start walking back. It catches me again. I look left this time because now we're heading back. I look left, and I swear to God, I saw it go. Like just a complete shift to the side. I froze dead in my tracks. And I look over, and Gavin is, for some reason, staring at the fire, and he just yells, "Run!" So we all take off, and we run to the trucks, and we get in the trucks, and we drive out of there. And I'm in the bed of the truck because I ran to the truck that had only a spot for 2 seats, so I jumped in the back real quick, like, fuck this, we're getting the hell out of here. And we go flying through the field and hit the road, flying down the road, and we get to the guy's house who claimed it was his property. Gavin swears to this day that when he turned around, he saw a woman with a distorted face reaching for him. I didn't see that. When I turned around to look at him, I saw the back of his head. So I was looking in the same direction he was. I saw absolutely nothing. But he swore to God, the reason he froze is because he saw her. The reason he yelled run is because all of a sudden she started reaching for him. So we all just take off. We go back the next day, during the day, to grab some of the stuff that we left. We grabbed the empty jugs of antifreeze. We were dumb party kids, but we didn't loiter. We didn't litter. We loitered, but we didn't litter. So we're walking back to the fire pit, and then I stopped and I grabbed Gavin by his shirt, and I ripped him back over towards me, and I pointed. There's no fucking tree there. There was nothing there. And he's like, he froze too. He's like, dude, there was a tree, and I'm like, there was not a fucking tree there. We got our shit and we left. I never fucking went back to that field. There was something very fucking large, easily 10 feet high, 4 to 5 feet wide, huge, standing between the trees. That is what still gets me today. What the fuck could that have been? That's the one that gets me. All the other ones, you can easily just chuck it up to half asleep. TV power button stuck. But you can't chalk up seeing something 10 feet tall, 4 to 5 feet wide, fucking breathing in the dark, when the next day there was nothing there that you could have just had a mind trick to. So that's it. Those are my scary stories. Those are my ghost stories. I hope you enjoyed. And you live in the tree. I just remembered you live in the woods, so sorry if that last one gets to you. But there you go. At the moment, that's really all I have. And I hope you enjoyed all of it. And I hope that maybe you can share some of the really good stories that you hear through your adventure of getting them. So I hope to see some of that. Until then, they call me Daisy. I hope you enjoyed. And for the rest of you who are still here, you guys can disbelieve everything I've said, everything you've heard. But everything I've said has been a full 110 experience. Like I said, a lot of it could have been divulged. A lot of it could have been debunked. Except for whatever the fuck was in the trees that night. But you don't have to believe it. You can believe it. It's your decision. It's your call. We're gonna try a few different things with my YouTube channel. We're gonna put the gaming. We're gonna put the gaming kind of in the backseat a little bit. It's kind of getting hard finding good stuff that hasn't already been presented on YouTube. And I'm going to probably start concentrating a little bit more on my live streams. So I might start putting even some highlights of my live streams on here. But I'm definitely going to try to get back to recording something every weekend or every other weekend. We will have to see. It's definitely going to be the last time you see me on here. That's for fucking sure. But you're probably going to see a slight change in revenue. Revenue? Is that really how I should put it? Is revenue? I don't know. Genre, maybe? I don't know. Take it. Leave it. It is what it is. Oh, and to make sure that this stays a not kid-friendly video. Fuck! Enjoy. See y'all next time. Bye! I'm a goofy goober!